Welcome back to the 888 Poker Weber Cup at the Metrodome. So that's how it started, and neither player has managed to find a double yet, and 2 strikes back to back is what the players are looking for to get the pressure on the other.
Well, Simon, back-to-back strikes is the start of the pressure. It's 4, 5 and possibly 6 strikes in a row is when it gets really nasty. And that's when the big guns come out.
Oh, that's shocking for Stuart Williams, hoping that messenger would take the 10-pin out, but the machine got down in time to stop it. And that might just have put a lid on the game for Stuart Williams. He's going to have to fight so hard here, but he's also going to have to hope that Tommy Jones makes a mistake.
He looks absolutely devastated. It wasn't the worst shot in the world. It certainly didn't deserve a 7 and a 10. It's an open frame. It can only be 1 pin. And from making a spare in the previous frame, which was a bonus ball for him, he's now opened up, and as you can see, his maximum score drops to 247. Quite a devastating blow for the European player. But
the way the matches shape up after this one, not exactly a lottery, Cass, but Europe still have chances to take points through session 2.
Oh yes, indeed, Simon. And of course, there's a doubles coming up with Fagan and O'Neill for Team USA, and they are not the strongest at this particular time, but they have to play, and they're going to have to raise their game.
Yeah, they'll play against Dominic Barrett and Team Europe captain Osku Palermaa, who are both looking in pretty tidy form at the moment. But for Stuart Williams, well, it's tough. It's tough when you're in this team scenario. It's fantastic to play, but you want to perform, and if you don't, you do feel like you've let people down. But I can assure Stuart Williams that that couldn't be further from the truth. He stepped into a very tricky situation and dealt with it well.
Yeah, slight adjustment on that last shot. Moved left on the approach, opened up the lane a little bit further, and managed to hold pocket and carry all 10. But as we didn't mention, when Stuart had that 7-10 split, Tommy Jones stood up and shot another strike to make a double. So it's putting a nail in the coffin of Williams.
And I think this is one of the toughest times in 10-pin bowling. There's nothing you can do about it. You're in your chair. It's a little bit like snooker or pool. If your opponent's at the table, you are stuck. And all you can do is hope that they will put a foot wrong, and Tommy Jones really hasn't looked like he's going to do that. That is wide, and that leaves another 10.
It wasn't the result he wanted, but he'll have to accept that, I'm afraid, and that's not that bad. It's just a single pin right hand side. It's the 10 pin. Shouldn't have any trouble making this spare. Spare ball's going to go hard and straight from the left to the right.
Oh, no. What is going on?
A single pin miss at the halfway stage for Tommy Jones.
Whoa there, cowboy. And his first open.
It looked almost good, didn't it? And look at that. It's got to the pin deck and just missed by an absolute fraction. Just unbelievable from Jones, the strike maker. Couldn't make the spare.
We are game on again, Cass.
Absolutely, yep. 5 frames gone, and it's getting level.
Well, that should be meat and drink to a pro bowler, but they do miss them sometimes. And really, Stuart Williams had to jump on that. He knew that. A strike or nothing, to be honest, for Williams.
He was working a strike from the previous frame, and as you say, something he really did, yes, have to. He knew he had to. The ball was, the speed was slightly soft. Just didn't get to the pocket. Hooked up into the headpin and leaves the 6 and the 10 on the right-hand side. This will go hard and straight, one would hope. Take both away, which he does, but a missed opportunity there for Stuart Williams.
Very, very tricky when things go like this, and we talk a lot about the oil on the lane, and Cass, let's just be absolutely definite about this. With no oil on the lane, bowling with these reactive balls, the ball just could not get to the pins. It would just go straight off into the gutter. It
would drop in the left-hand gutter straight away, yeah. The oil is there to protect the lane initially, but also with these high hooking bowling balls, it holds the ball on the lane. The ball is rotating, but the oil is holding it down the lane until it gets to the drier part of the lane, where the power on the bowling ball hits up with the dry part, and that's where the power comes in, and the ball hooks up into the pocket and drives through those pins. Jones leaves a single 10 pin in the corner. This is the one he's just missed. This time it's got to be good.
Now these two played on a lane condition that was 3 games old the last time they met in the singles, which produced that very high scoring game. Well, we've got the same conditions again, a slightly different oil pattern, and it just shows you that there are no absolutes in this game of 10-pin bowling. And a salute to the crowd from Tommy Jones, but very, very nervy performance in the end from him after such a confident start.
I think the acknowledgement was to tell the fans that I can actually spare those single pins. I really didn't mean to miss that last one, and I've got this one now.
So very much game on. Williams has to keep striking from here. It was a good try. That was a good try. There wasn't a lot wrong with that.
Yeah, both players are now opening up the angle of this lane, trying to get in behind that head pin, and of course doing that, it leaves the 10-pin in the corner.
I think you've probably got to say, Cass, somebody's going to find a double or even a turkey, and that will be good enough to win this one.
Well, that's right. Whoa, that looks a bit dodgy. Oh, crikey. I thought that was gone as well. For a second, I think Stuart did as well.
Just held.
It's amazing, Simon. You take these for granted, you spare these all day, every day, and that was not far dropping into the gutter, from dropping in the gutter. He sees the funny side of it. It's a spare that counts.
So Stuart's potential maximum drops to 216. And that's a head pin shot as well, but he had so much velocity on that ball that he managed to clear the rest out. Just a single pin left.
Yeah, single 4-pin left-hand side of the lane. The shot was a little bit high. As I say, both these players are now standing way left on the approach. They're almost both playing coast to coast.
Hard and straight from Jones, just clips out that 4-pin. But as I said, because of what's happened with Stuart Williams, that's still good enough for Tommy Jones.
Yeah, just 10 pins difference in it at the moment. We're starting frame 8. And as you said, Simon, the first one to double or treble will win this one.
That's good stuff from Stuart Williams. He's working very hard down on that lane. He's trying to make his reads. He's trying to make sure that the changes that he makes to the way he's bowling the ball are successful. And he's come up with the goods. And he's a long, long way left.
Yes, you're quite right. Well spotted. He is very, very far left, and the ball is going very, very far right. It's a little bit light in the pocket, but it carries all 10, and that is a bonus. And he really has to double up on that now and possibly go 3 strikes in a row.
Yeah, we'll find out what he has to do when TJ bowls this next ball. A strike means that it's no change, but this time if TJ misses, that will bring them closer together. Only in a score sense, of course.
But it will give Williams the opportunity to strike and double before Jones can.
No, that's the way to do it. Tommy Jones knew that was a big delivery.
Another frame bites the dust, and it's still 10 pins difference as we move into the foundation frame. That was a great shot from Jones there. Under just a little bit of pressure. Gives himself the opportunity, as Williams does, to shoot 2 strikes in a row.
Well, it's not a high-scoring, big-hitting affair as we build it at the top of the game based on how these two played last time out. But it's still an exciting one, and it still could go down to the wire.
Just 10 pins difference. Williams working on a strike from frame 8. This really has to be good. Oh, had that one. Dear, oh dear. It's another strike, but the 10-pin was standing. I'm not sure which pin it was that was the messenger, but it certainly came flying back across the pin deck, knocked on the door and said, "Anybody home?" And just knocked the 10-pin away. Now look at this. Way, way left on the approach. The ball sails out to the right. It's a light hit on the head pin. It's not the head pin that comes across, but one of them does, and that's all that counts. And away goes the 10-pin. 2 strikes in a row.
Now he just has to hope. May not happen here. May happen when he steps up again to try and strike it off the card. So must stay positive as Jones looks to work the last strike that he had. Oh, I was just going to say it's a double for Tommy, but how about that? It's a stone-cold single.
He and Chris Barnes cannot believe that. The 8-pin is as solid as if it was nailed down. The time he had to get a strike, and it was flush in the pocket. So much power on that ball, it's just gone straight through the 1-3 and the 5-pin and kept on going. Dear, oh dear, what a, well, bad bit of luck, really. It was a fabulous looking shot. Now just watch this. Just cuts straight through and goes through the 5-pin. Nothing hits that 8-pin at all, which sets up a big finish in the 10th frame.
Well, this is huge, and Stuart Williams' perseverance may still pay off. Jones to remove that 8-pin, which he does without any dramas. But he's on the back foot now, and Stuart Williams can effectively shut him out. It's not about setting a mark when you take it right to the 10th frame. It's about shutting out the opponent, and Williams can do that. And
we look back to frame 5 when Tommy Jones missed that single pin, the 10-pin on the right-hand side of the lane. And if he loses, that will be the frame that he'll certainly look back at and say that was it.
Williams with his destiny and Team Europe's destiny for this point certainly in his own hands. There's strike number 1, and that was convincing. That was very encouraging.
A great looking shot, should surely tie this game up. First ball in the 10th, shoots a strike, makes 3 strikes in a row.
Now, has he got a bit of leeway here for an error, Cass? What does he have to do here to shut Jones out, even by a single pin?
He's just got to keep the ball on the lane. Any mark will be good enough. So a spare is going to be great.
So clean and tidy the order of the day then from Williams.
Well, as you can see, Jones, if he strikes out for a maximum score 206.
And there's nothing at the moment that one of the greatest strike makers in Weber Cup history can do other than sit and watch Williams try and finish him off. Big delivery here, a strike would put it beyond doubt, and a strike it is. Team Europe have another point, and it's courtesy of a quite tremendous performance by Williams, because for half of this match he was down and out, and he's come back and scalped Jones.
4 strikes in a row to finish with. A great looking shot, ties the game up. Jones can do nothing about it. And this ball is just for fun.
Nice position to be in. And Stuart Williams under severe pressure there, coming up with a dream of a point for Team Europe. That was against the odds, it has to be said. And that looked like a nailed-on point for Tommy Jones through most of that game. And at the start of this whole encounter, Stuart Williams said he would take 150 over 149 just to get the point. So 214 over 183, I think will keep Stuart Williams and Team Europe very happy indeed. But the fact of the matter is that Team Europe have another point on the board. It's courtesy of Stuart Williams, and what a battling effort that was. Well, that's what it means to Stuart Williams. He got more and more intense as that game went on, but then really cut loose. Right then, Tony Wrighton is down on the show lane to talk about that one.
Stuart, you are absolutely buzzing after that, aren't you?
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, getting up in the 10th frame needing a double, that's what you practice for. So, yeah, it was really good. I threw 2 really good shots, so, yeah, it was nice.
It was a funny old game, wasn't it? Because at the start of the game, you said you'd be happy to win, what was it, 150, 149, and then it was quite a low-scoring match in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, when we came onto the lanes, both me and Tommy thought there was going to be pretty high scoring, but I think once we got further and further inside, we just both had that, over-under reaction. We didn't know whether it was going to hook or not, and
yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we saw one game between you already in this Weber Cup where both of you could have had a 300 game. This was it was more of a scrap, wasn't it, for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a scrap, that's for sure. I mean, I guess it came down to the guy who made the spares and the guys who didn't.
So we've seen some interesting celebrations from you already. Stuart, what have you got planned for the rest of the Weber Cup?
we'll see how it goes. As long as we keep winning games, we can work out how to celebrate afterwards.
Quite right. Congratulations, Stuart. Well done indeed. An absolutely crucial point for Team Europe, who are clinging on by their coattails. More next.